Imagine a world where the oppressed rise up, where the weak overthrow the powerful, where equality becomes the foundation of a new society. Sounds like justice, right? But what if that same revolution slowly turns into something even worse than what it replaced? What if the ones who promise freedom become the new oppressors? This is exactly what Animal Farm shows us. At first glance, it looks like a simple story about animals, but underneath, it's a sharp, uncomfortable reflection of how power works in the real world. This is not just a story, it's a warning. And once you truly understand it, you'll start noticing its patterns everywhere. The story begins on a farm called Manor Farm, owned by a man named Mr. Jones. Now Jones is not just careless, he's irresponsible, drunk, and neglectful. The animals on his farm work all day. They produce food, labor, and value. But what do they get in return? Barely enough to survive. They are overworked, underfed, and completely controlled. And the most disturbing part? They've accepted it, because they don't know anything else. This is the condition of the animals before the revolution. And this is important, because every revolution begins with suffering that has been normalized. One night, everything changes. An old pig named Old Major calls for a meeting. All animals gather in the barn, and what follows is not just a speech, it's ideology. Old Major explains something powerful. He tells them that the root of all their suffering is humans. Humans don't produce anything, yet they consume everything. They take milk from cows, eggs from hens, labor from horses, and give nothing back. And then he says something revolutionary. If humans are removed, all problems will disappear. This is a dangerous idea because it simplifies suffering into a single enemy. But that's exactly why it spreads so easily. Old Major doesn't stop there. He gives them a vision of a perfect future, a world without hunger, without oppression, without fear. And then he gives them rules. No animal should ever become like a human. No beds, no alcohol, no trade, no clothes. And the most important principle, all animals are equal. That line becomes the moral foundation of the revolution. Before he dies, Old Major also teaches them a song, Beasts of England, a song of hope, unity, and freedom. And just like that, a revolution begins, not with violence, but with an idea. A few days later, the opportunity arrives. Mr. Jones forgets to feed the animals. At first, they wait. Then they endure. But eventually, they snap. Driven by hunger and anger, they break into the food storage. When Jones tries to stop them, something unexpected happens. The animals fight back, and they win. Jones is driven out of the farm. For the first time in their lives, the animals are free. They rename the farm Animal Farm. They burn symbols of oppression, chains, saddles, tools. They feel powerful. They feel united. They believe. They have created a new world. But this moment is also the beginning of something else, because revolutions don't end when power is taken. They begin there. Now the animals try to build a new society. They establish the 7 commandments. These commandments define their values. They are simple, clear, and idealistic. But here's where something subtle happens. Not all animals understand them. Some can't even read them, so they rely on others to interpret the truth. And this is where power starts shifting, because the ones who can read control the meaning, and the ones who can't must trust them. Among all animals, The pigs quickly emerge as leaders. Why? Because they are intelligent. They learn to read, write, and think strategically. Two pigs stand out, Snowball and Napoleon. Snowball is visionary. He wants progress, innovation, better systems. Napoleon is different, quiet, observant, calculated. At first, they seem like partners. But slowly, differences emerge. And then something very important happens. The pigs start taking milk and apples for themselves. When questioned, they don't deny it. They justify it. They say, "We need this to stay healthy, for your sake." And the animals accept it. Not because it's fair, but because it sounds logical. This is how power justifies privilege. Snowball proposes a windmill, a machine that will reduce work and improve life. The animals are excited. They imagine a future with less labor, more comfort. But Napoleon sees something else. He sees influence. He sees popularity. He sees a rival. So instead of arguing, he eliminates him. On the day of decision, Napoleon unleashes trained dogs. They chase Snowball out of the farm. Just like that. Debate ends. Democracy ends. And power becomes absolute. Napoleon takes control. No more meetings, no more discussions, only orders. And here comes one of the most important tools of control: propaganda. A pig named Squealer becomes the voice of Napoleon. He doesn't force animals to believe. He convinces them. He twists facts. He changes narratives. He makes lies sound like truth. And slowly, the animals begin to doubt themselves. Their memory fades. Their confidence disappears. And when people stop trusting their own memory, they become easy to control. Life becomes harder. Food decreases. Work increases. But the pigs say, things are improving. They show numbers, statistics, reports, and even though reality says otherwise, the animals believe them because they want to believe, because the alternative is too painful. Boxer is the strongest animal. He represents loyalty, hard work, and blind faith. His motto is simple: I will work harder. Napoleon is always right. He never questions. He only gives more. Until one day, his body gives up. And what happens next is the ultimate betrayal. Instead of being cared for, he is sold, used, disposed. And even his death is turned into a lie. And the animals believe it because they don't want to face the truth. By the end, everything changes. The pigs start walking on two legs. They wear clothes. They drink alcohol. They trade with humans. The commandments are rewritten. And the final one says, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And in the final scene, the animals look at pigs and humans, and they can't tell the difference. And that's the message. Power doesn't just corrupt, it transforms, until the oppressor becomes indistinguishable from what it replaced. Animal Farm is not just a story. It's a pattern, a cycle, a warning. It shows how revolutions begin with hope. Power concentrates silently. Truth gets manipulated, and people become part of their own control. And the scariest part? This doesn't belong to the past. It happens again, and again, and again.